How's it going, everybody? It is Matty here today, bringing you the first episode of the H.A.M Radio Podcast.
And it is me, the LoneVaultWanderer, joining Matty.
And me, Noah. I don't do Fallout videos, but I'm here for the ride because I've known Matt for, unfortunately, years. And
unfortunately.
Here go. Yeah.
And so basically normally we have a fourth member of this podcast, but we want you to be that fourth member. So for you to be able to get entered into this, we want you to follow us on Twitter. There will be our Twitter handles on the screen. Tweet at us using the hashtag HamRadioTime, and you'll have the chance to be the fourth guest on this podcast. But please do note you will need Skype in order to be a part of this show.
Sounds good.
All right, and let's kick this bad boy off. Let's christen it with the...
yeah, I think the most obvious news of the week.
Points.
Yeah, what we like to do here is talk about mainly everything Bethesda, not just limit ourselves to Fallout. But this week, man, it's going to be all about Fallout. We got so much stuff going on in the Fallout community. So right now we're going to be rounding up all the news that's been going on this week and give our extended thoughts on it. Because naturally, with Lone Vault and I, we make like 3-minute videos. We don't really give our extended thoughts. So this is an opportunity to really hear what all of us, including Noah, are thinking.
Including Noah.
All right, mate.
So let's get into the first segment here. Bethesda's E3 conference. That was a pretty damn big surprise, I'd say.
I don't remember the last time they had anything major. Well, major at E3 at least. Well, now, I could be totally wrong on that.
It was back in 2008. They joined Microsoft's conference and said, here's the Fallout 3 trailer. And that's essentially what it was. That's why I guessed Fallout 4 was going to be announced at E3 and they would do something similar. But never did I guess it had their own conference.
Yeah. I mean, I was blown away. Like I was sitting there during class and I couldn't even complete a thought. I was just like absolutely blown away at the fact that they're having their own conference. Cause you look at like EA or Ubisoft and like they have so many different games that they're making in their companies. And then like Bethesda is going to obviously be the best of all of them. You'd at least assume so because they make some quality stuff.
Well, and not only that, but they're also a publishing and development company. So they have that both money. Now the money's probably allocated between both departments of the company itself.
Yeah.
But you know, one would hope that some good money is thrown into development, and you know, I mean, because Skyrim, the budget on Skyrim was insane. But it was a fantastic game. You know, so
and I think
that's what I'm really excited about is the engine they use for if and when Fallout 4 is released, which hopefully will be in the next few years. The engine is just going to be fantastic looking on next gen.
Oh yeah,
and the way I see it, if Bethesda want to become a big publisher like Ubisoft, like EA, they really need their own stamp on E3, and that's a given.
That's totally true. I never thought of that.
And a whole conference is a 20-minute long event, 30-minute long event. I mean, you know,
it's even longer sometimes. Like I think Ubisoft was like 90 minutes last year.
Yeah, so I mean that's a lot of time for really solid information to come out.
We got to consider here. They got to fill up that time limit. So like, what are you guys feeling like we're gonna see there? I'm just wondering because all we know about from Bethesda right now is Doom, Battlecry. That's all we know.
Yeah.
Because by the time this E3 conference happens, console Elder Scrolls Online is out, so that's all done with.
Yeah.
I just wonder what they're going to be showing.
Here's my fear, is that they don't announce anything at all, and they just simply show off business plans and stuff for publishing. That's my fear. Now, I hope that doesn't happen. I really do.
The way I see things going down, they'll have like a good combination of stuff they've already announced. Like they'll definitely have gameplay of Elder Scrolls Online on the console. I think... because Doom's technically been announced, they might show something of that, but I'm not too sure.
I'm hoping they show some Doom gameplay. I really do. It's been a year since like almost a year at this point when we hit the Bethesda E3 conference that they showed off that Doom gameplay, a very secluded crowd. So I'm hoping that some hardcore Doom fans do get what they want.
Now I'm actually curious about this. I'm gonna search this now. What is the new Doom officially? Is it Doom?
It's a reboot essentially. They're saying they used to be called Doom 4, and then they scrapped the whole project. And I think 2011 they kind of rebuilt it, and apparently it looks really good, but no one's seen it except for anyone who was at QuakeCon 2014. I'm hoping to see, me personally, like, you know, don't get me wrong, we all here in this podcast, and I'm sure those who are listening want to see Fallout 4. I really want to see Dishonored 2 though. Like I really want to play that game, man. That's been rumored for so long. I love the first Dishonored.
I'm a hipster because here's my.
Oh, jeez, here we go. This is why we have him here.
This part of the podcast is known as the Noah Corner.
Exactly, the Noah conflict. No, my only thing was with Dishonored was it was an awesome game, really really cool in terms of the stealth and the combinations of the powers and stuff.
Yeah,
but it was 4 minutes long.
Yeah,
that is true. It was pretty underwhelmingly short. I can agree to that.
And it was also really, in my opinion, predictable. Now,
I beat it twice in a week, so I'll agree with you on the short part.
It's also been like 3 years since I played it, so maybe I'm forgetting parts.
They had great DLC though.
Yeah.
I'll give them that.
Yeah. I actually didn't play the DLC, but
I played part of it. It's pretty damn good though.
Look, I think the important thing is that what's the next big event after E3? I don't think there's really anything down the line.
QuakeCon for Bethesda, it's got to be QuakeCon. That's the thing, and that's why I thought to myself, like E3 and QuakeCon are right next to each other. What's Bethesda doing? Like they are two of their. Now they have their own conference. That's huge. But now they have QuakeCon, which is essentially their own home of like Bethesda stuff.
Yeah.
There as well. So what are they going to show off? Are they going to hold themselves back? I just wonder to myself, like
the way
there's so much going on.
Is that I think about last QuakeCon they had the Doom reveal to that secluded audience, right? Why wouldn't they continue that trend and keep QuakeCon like for Doom reveals or Doom gameplay, and then for E3 have a bang with Fallout 4? That's the way I see things going down.
Or they could possibly flip it around and keep. I mean, they'd be shooting themselves in the foot. Don't get me wrong, but keep it where like they keep these highly anticipated games only secluded to the QuakeCon crowd, and they say, let's show some Fallout 4 gameplay at QuakeCon 2015.
Internet would implode.
I'm just saying though. I mean, I know we're not huge Doom fans here, but Doom is a pretty damn big game series.
The game itself was one of the first the original Doom was one of the first, and John Carmack behind it, it was a programming marvel,
Exactly. So you imagine there are some just as hardcore fans for Doom as there are for Fallout, so it wouldn't be past Bethesda to, go ahead and do something as crazy as this.
Yeah.
Well, and here's the thing with Doom though, and I've heard this from other podcasts that will remain nameless. They mentioned the fact that what can you really do with a new Doom game?
Yeah, it's got to be good first-person shooting mechanics, like fast-paced and stuff. That's all I can really think of, because it's never been a story-heavy game.
No, it's not. It's been about shooting Nazis in a...
Are you thinking of Wolfenstein?
Wolfenstein?
Am I thinking of Wolfenstein?
I am thinking of Wolfenstein.
Doom is like demons and monsters. It's good. I played the original Doom when it came to the 360 on the arcade. It's fun.
And it has a huge audience. Absolutely huge, because it is such an old iconic game.
The original Wolfenstein are reskins of not reskins, but the same
They're
type.
The same type, yeah.
That's what so I am thinking of the right thing, just wrong context.
Yeah.
But okay.
All right, so shall we move on to the next segment here?
Sounds good.
We're going to be talking a little bit about PAX East. Pete Hines recently stated that he is going, but he said he's going to be helping out with some panels. He's going to be talking to some people, but nothing Bethesda related, which kind of caught me a little off guard, because even Bethesda's own Twitter at one point responded and said that there won't be any like convention booths at PAX East. This surprised me a bit. They have some games to promote, and I don't know why they're avoiding a pretty big convention. Next to PAX Prime, I think PAX East is the biggest. So you
have to look at it again also on a company side. I mean, yes, if they announce something big at PAX East, it would be insane. It would be like, oh shit, yeah. But at the same token, if they don't have, not necessarily if they don't have it, but if something's not ready to show off,
agreed,
or talk about, they just can't,
And maybe they just want to save everything for the E3 conference. I mean, they need to fill up an entire conference.
And then I worry to myself that they're going to cram E3 and QuakeCon all together. And it's not going to be enough time for like games to breathe and get excited for, because they're all just like in this 2-month span. It's like, calm down, Bethesda. Like,
that's exactly what they want to do.
Yeah, that could be.
If they only release, like, let's just say in a perfect world, they released a half-hour gameplay of Fallout 4, in a perfect world, half-hour gameplay of Fallout 4, and they release it on, in E3, and let's say they also did that for PAX East, and then also for QuakeCon. It's like you have too much out there, you have too much going. You want to keep it a tight lid on things, so hype builds.
And I really think Bethesda
you're saying that they should compact it so that it's kind of all together
specifically.
Okay.
Rather than doing what Far Cry does and show the entire game,
or Assassin's Creed, like 20 trailers,
Well, yeah.
They spoiled Unity so badly. Like, those time anomalies could have been so cool in Unity. But I watched the trailer. I'm like, this is sick, but why'd you ruin this for so many fans? Because that would have been a big-ass plot twist.
Yeah. I watch Inside Gaming a lot. At the end of every show, they'll show trailers. And I don't know how many of those trailers were either Far Cry or Assassin's Creed. I mean, at Ubisoft, they might have more people working on trailers than they do video games. I honestly think.
I think the marketing teams on both Ubisoft, well, not even both, it's just Ubisoft itself and the teams for Assassin's Creed. The marketing teams are spot on. They're fantastic. They really are. They build hype, but
they do get people excited. Yeah. That's the goal.
The money allocation, or from what I can see, is so that, or not even money, but time allocation from what I can see is so that it's that, okay, 90% is going to be on marketing, 10% will do reskinning a game engine that we already have. Not even a game engine, but a game prototype we already have, and just reskin it. And there we go. Assassin's Creed.
Yeah. No, that's totally true. It's a shame. I'm hoping that 2015 they can turn around. They need to realize that some of their littler games, like Child of Light, I think it was called, that was a pretty surprisingly good game. I think Valiant Hearts, a lot of people really liked, and they recently undercover like released another tiny game, and it turned out to be a really good game as well. I think Ubisoft needs to realize that. But anyways, Pete Hines, PAX East, we totally went off track there.
That's fine.
What you're staying in the same hotel room with him, right?
Yes, exactly. Okay, going to be sleeping with Pete Hines. All right.
Sweet.
Moving on, we got a few other pieces of news here. Next one is that 3Dog had a new audition lately, but it really doesn't seem to be cracked up to everyone to what we thought it was going to be. He said he howled in it, which got a lot of people's attention because 3Dog, exactly what Noah just did. He howls in Fallout 3, so everyone was like, yeah, this is awesome. But then he said it wasn't a tease. And so it kind of got a lot of Fallout fans confused. I just want to get some thoughts here.
I really feel sorry for 3Dog. I really do. Eric Todd
He probably gets it worse than like Todd Howard or P. Hines.
Oh yeah, honestly. I mean, he essentially started everything with that cryptic tweet. Right in the
He really did. It's so funny. He really did.
I think he knows it at this point. I think he gets off on it probably. It really wouldn't surprise me.
Yes. Oh.
Yeah, like, oh yes.
No, but I mean, like, he knows, like, he said even in the tweet, not a tease, but when you're saying you're howling in a new voice audition, like, what do you think people are going to think? Like, I just wonder to myself. That's why I think 3Dog's a great guy, but I think Noah's partially right. He might get off a bit on this because, like, I don't know any other reason why he would just decide to just say he howled in a new audition.
I remember him retweeting, I think it was a photo of some caps, and then people lost their shit. And he's like, I'm so sorry about that. I
feel bad for him.
I think what he needs to do is just write out a tweet and then not send it.
I've done that so many times. It helps. Just write out the tweet and don't send it. I don't know.
Rats.
I mean, he said, furthermore, later on, he stated that it was a commercial. And then people started thinking, oh, it's a Fallout commercial. It's like, damn it, people. I know we like to jump to conclusions here, but I don't think this is anything.
You don't really be like if you think about that. The main voice actor would be most in the commercial would probably be whoever did the intro and outros for both games. You know, that deep voice.
Yeah, Ron Perlman.
Yeah, you know his name. Awesome. So, like, that's probably who would do it. Or it wouldn't be.
No, I'm just gonna warn you now. You're gonna get so much shit for not knowing that name. I can
Ron Perlman. If Ron Perlman is not in Fallout 4, people are going to go nuts. It's iconic. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't want to sound grim, but until that man passes away, you don't take him out of a Fallout game.
You don't.
Honestly. That'd be insulting. You can tell he's pretty salty about it because, like, anytime someone asks him something about Fallout 4, I think it was like the middle of last year, he started answering questions about Fallout 4. He seemed pretty upset that he didn't know anything, apparently. But then again, in interviews, like 3Dog said that, you know, as a voice actor for Bethesda, you got to sign NDAs so that you can't say anything.
And usually
say anything.
Well, usually voice actors are brought on really late in the development process, and
that's
perhaps
you think about it.
Yeah.
You're gonna want you're gonna want a working prototype of the game. You're gonna want everything polished. Then the last thing you do is just
slap on your voice actors. That's it.
Yeah, and that's why some people were like, isn't it a little too late for 3Dog to be put into what could be Fallout 4? And it's just like, no, not really. It's actually pretty good damn timing if this game was a fall 2015 game. So,
and especially so for Ron Perlman, because he's not technically a character. All he does is the intros and the outros. So he could be brought in whenever, and it would be fine. And it would actually make sense to be brought on much later, because with the intros and the outros, if they're really tied to the story and the story isn't settled, then he needs to be brought on really late in the process.
Fantastic.
That is true. All right, so got that out of the way now. We got the final bit of Fallout news. This one doesn't really pertain to Fallout 4, but it's still really damn interesting and pretty controversial.
Yeah.
So basically, Captain Sparkles, big YouTuber, Jordan Marin, I think his actual name is. He went ahead and made an indie game with a company, Xreal. I don't really know much about it, but basically it goes under the name of Fortress Fallout. And you can tell by the name, it's actually gotten into some legal issues. And he posted a picture on Twitter. Basically, Bethesda said that, they're infringing on their copyright and trademark of the Fallout name, and it makes sense. And so, me personally, I'm not surprised. You're asking for trouble when you put Fallout in your website name and in your game name, indie or not.
Without a doubt.
Yeah. I support indie games. Don't get me wrong. I hate people who say indie games are stupid. I love them, but honestly...
Hey, I'm an amateur indie dev,
Yeah.
I haven't published anything, but...
Yeah.
I'm working on stuff.
I think that was stupid from 2 points. First of all, you don't put Fallout in your name. Everyone knows what Fallout is. But when you're an indie game trying to, become popular, you don't want search terms that are already associated with another big thing. So if people search Fortress Fallout, you're going to get nothing but Fallout pop out for a long time, if ever.
That's a really good point, yeah.
That's true. Or theories that Fallout 4 will have a fortress mode in which you defend against a horde of ghouls or some shit like that.
Or if Bethesda felt really salty, they'll have a DSC called Fortress.
Fallout. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I feel bad for the guy because, it's cool that he's reaching out and doing bigger things than YouTube, like developing an indie game and stuff. But all this takes is a name change. I personally, even though I haven't followed Captain Sparkles in years, I've never heard of this, so I don't think it would hurt to just kind of change the name, the website URL and stuff.
I think it would pretty quick.
Bethesda does tend to throw around legal disputes, though, quite a bit. If you follow Bethesda at all,
this podcast could get sued.
Yeah. You look at what happened. They had a lawsuit with Interplay for an MMO that I don't even think they're gonna make. They just like throwing around lawsuits for fun.
Yeah, I can't remember one lawsuit that ZeniMax was involved in. It was using some sort of IP, and then ZeniMax just sued that person, but I can't remember who it was, and it's pissing me off.
I vaguely remember that too. There's been so many. That's why I'm they shouldn't be they're like, oh, Bethesda's a bunch of scumbags. I'm like, you shouldn't be surprised. This has happened in the past, and they're just kind of putting their foot down. They don't want you walking on their trademarks.
Exactly.
Makes sense. It sucks, but it makes total sense in my opinion.
Yeah. Here's a message to Captain Sparkles. If you don't want to get sued, just change the name of your website and game to Assassin's Creed, FIFA 12, Need for Speed.
It's even a rip-off of Fortress Craft too. Think about it.
I've never even...
That's true. I don't know how Fortress Craft really didn't... Did I ever get into legal trouble?
Fortress Craft?
Yeah, I used to play it all the time. Remember that?
No, you can't sue a game for being similar to another game.
I remembered. ZeniMax sued Oculus for using something.
Call of Duty and Battlefield wouldn't exist.
Oh, that's what it was. They sued Mojang for using scrolls in Minecraft.
Yeah. That I remember. Yeah,
so
that was
Mojang,
ridiculous.
Oculus. They're throwing lawsuits around everywhere.
Yeah, Oculus too. Yeah, now I remember. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so this shouldn't come as a surprise that Bethesda's just a bunch of. But their legal division truly is clearly a bunch of assholes.
Legal division is swimming in money.
They are scared.
Oh man. But anyways, that is the news roundup for the show. Now we're gonna move on to another news segment called the Fallout Spotlight, and basically this is where each week us three and our guest, when we have one next week, we'll go ahead and highlight a certain segment in Fallout that we really either enjoyed or didn't like, and just kind of discuss upon it. So if one of you would like to go first, talk about...
I think I'll go first since I went last in the intro.
Oh my god.
Bitch. So Noah, my favorite moment in Fallout. Now, okay, let me add a little backstory here that'll take an hour. But
let me get comfortable.
My first Fallout was Fallout 3. I got it when it was like $20 at GameStop, and I didn't have Xbox Live at the time, so I was playing. It was like the first night I had it. Anyways, it was like 3 a.m. or 2 a.m. or something. It was dark out. I don't like scary games, and I specifically remember walking through the dark terrifying metros of Fallout 3 and hearing ghouls go, you know, and
you nailed that sound perfectly.
I didn't even, well, thank you. I didn't even like kill them. I just ran. I was like, nope. But like, it took me a good week to really like sit myself down and say, okay, just go through the metro. And to this day, I cannot go back into them without getting a little jumpy. Like it's
I agree, and it really highlights how versatile Fallout can be, because it's really mainly like an atmospheric, you know, for RPG.
It did its job fantastically. It made
exactly, but it can still scare you in this kind of survival horror type of feel when you enter the metros, especially because they make the Pip-Boy light so damn dim. It's like, this is the worst. Like, I can't see.
It's like, it's like. And then it's like there's nothing. It's like a half a flashlight. Like, okay, well.
And that 10mm pistol looks so dinky. You think, how is this gonna fucking save me and kill enemies?
So early in the game. It's so early in the game. So you either have the SMG, the 10mm SMG, or
baseball
the pistol. Baseball.
Pool cue.
I'm gonna do it. It's like, you know. But Lone, why don't you go?
Well, I want to talk about a mod that I love and I've covered in the past. It's I don't know if you guys like the Pip-Boy map in Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas. I think it's shit. It's just like lines.
Yeah, it's awful.
It doesn't describe anything.
It's so hard to find locations. I hate it, dude. I hate it.
I despise it. And so one of the first mods I wanted to install was a colorful map which was detailed. And I've covered it, and I'll also chuck it in the description when this is uploaded on my channel. It's called Shilo DS Colored Map and Icons. And it's just beautiful. You look at it, it's colorful. You can actually see the terrains. And it's awesome. Yeah,
that's cool.
It's incredible, and it also works with the
Google
DLC.
Maps.
I've never seen that before. Actually, I'm surprised no one's recommended that to me. I literally, anytime like I'm live streaming Fallout, I complain about the map because I'm searching for hours. Like, I put so much time in Fallout 3, so much time into New Vegas at this point. Like, I should know where these locations are. The map is so bad, I just can't find them.
Like,
so
there is one for New Vegas,
awesome
but
mod.
that one doesn't. The one that I have, anyways, doesn't work with the DLC. So I think if you get to that point, it'll just fuck up. But with Fallout 3, this one does work. But I think one of the reasons why not many people have downloaded it, because unfortunately the mod author passed away, so it's not updated anymore. But it's incredible. It's absolutely incredible.
The mod author passed away?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Jesus, that's terrible.
Yeah, so
people die.
I was about to say, I didn't expect that, but Noah's like, he passed away? No way. Shit happens.
Yeah. Actually, this girl, so as kind of like a memento to her, I uploaded this to my YouTube channel, and I was like, download this bloody mod because it's awesome. But yeah.
That sounds really cool.
Yeah, Maddie, your turn.
As for me personally, my spotlight, you know, we've highlighted, you know, the awesome aspects of Fallout, the great mods. My complaint here is that the quest is very underwhelming, okay?
Fuck me.
I don't know why it's an achievement quest. In Fallout, the achievement quests are challenging. They involve you doing something different, or they're stretched out long. Those is a short quest that sucks. Why is this an achievement?
Hell, the ants that ate my dad.
Like, yeah, like you run into this kid in front of the Super Duper Mart for some reason or another, and then you go back to Grey Ditch, and you find his dad dead on the floor. You go out, tell him he's dead. He's like, oh, that sucks. I'm going to go hide in this tube over here. And you go to Ribbon City, find him a place to live, or you can go to Paradise Falls, I think. And that's great and all, but it's like over so quickly. You also, I mean, the only good part is that you get the ant mite or the ant something perk.
Yeah. Well, not only that,
which is cool.
That's not a bad, see, that's probably the pure reason behind the thing though, the quest, because remember that one quest we played in Dying Light and we got that gun that did nothing out of it?
Yeah, but it's like, why do game developers do this? Like I understand, like, it's all about fire ants. It's all about investigating ants, but like, I don't know, me personally, I don't give a shit, but there was no investment in it. Like, there was no surprise. Like, it's such as, like, you take a place like Andale, I think it's called, in Fallout 3, where you just stumble across this place. I don't think there's any quest there. You just break into the shed and you walk outside, and there's people pointing guns at you saying, we're cannibals, what are you gonna do about it? Like, that was so much more surprising than a quest that gives you an achievement.
Dark, that quest. That happened. I was like, what the fuck is this? This is terrible.
Yeah, I specifically remember that place too. And then there's Billy with his Wazer rifle.
Wazer rifle. Did you hear that rap with the Wazer rifle? How awesome was that? I did.
It was Matt sent it to me when he found it. It was fantastic. I actually listened to that just just for the sheer fact of how good it was. I was like,
I was about to say, it's a great song, but
it is really well done.
As someone who is obsessed with achievements, trophies, collecting all that stuff,
These are fucking freak.
yeah, I just don't understand why this is an achievement-based quest. You know, there was just so much better in Fallout. You know, I just don't know why it's there. And that's my complaint. That's why I wanted to highlight this week. Is it was so underwhelming.
And I think Fallout 3 has a lot of quests like that. At times, I'm looking at the Pip-Boy, and I'm like, oh, it's like a grocery list of quests to complete. I don't like this. And there feels like there's no real purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think next time we do the highlights, we should also maybe include Skyrim highlights.
Yeah, we could do Elder Scrolls as well.
Because there are a lot of those. But we're not gonna go into those now.
We'll talk about Fallout 4. God damn it. Fuck.
Yeah, here comes the complaints. All right, so the next segment, in order to kind of break things up a little bit, highlight something other than Fallout, we want to talk about what we're playing. And so I'll let one of you once again kick it off and talk about what you're playing. Are you enjoying it? You hating it? Let me know.
I went first last, so Lone, you go.
I'll go. I'm playing 2 games at the moment, and it takes me really long to finish games because I work now, but Wolfenstein and Dishonored. I'm playing at the moment, and
you have. Oh my god, dude! I'm so jealous of you for experiencing that for the first time again.
And Wolfenstein, it's just killing Nazis. It's awesome, and I believe.
It's a cool game.
Yeah, it's. I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. Have you guys played the game Rage at all?
Yes.
Yeah.
I love Rage. Everyone hates Rage. I love it.
I absolutely love it, and it uses the same engine. I think it's the id Tech one. I could be so wrong, and people correcting me right now.
No, you're right. It is id Tech. Yeah.
And it's just it's a game that doesn't take itself too seriously, and you can just go around killing enemies, and that's all it is. But it's fun, and I like how it's taken that direction. Whereas a lot of different games, they're like, all right, we need to be more serious. We need to have this complex plot, which I like sometimes, but this game was fresh to me.
And Sunset Overdrive did the same thing. It had a plot that did just not take itself that seriously, and it was a really cool game. Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, I mean, Wolfenstein, though, actually, for a character, I think his name is like BJ Blazkowicz. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Yeah.
For a character that's been like disregarded as just like a basic first-person shooter grunt, I was actually pretty surprised that they managed to give him like a personality and an actual character built.
It's not spoiled, but
yeah, but like, you know, it's a decent story and everything. So I was actually pretty impressed when playing that game. I think that would have been in the Game of the Year talks a lot more. I was thinking about this recently. I don't mean to steal the spotlight from you, Lone Vault.
No, it's all right.
I was thinking that game would have been way more in the Game of the Year talks, but I feel like since the year started off so strong for 2014 in most places, I feel like people expected so much more at the end of the year because that's where all the technically the good games were.
Yeah.
That everyone forgot about all these games at the beginning because they expected better at the end, and that's what I did too.
Exactly.
And that's the opposite of what actually happened. Whereas the good games came out like in the first 3 months of 2014, and the rest of 2014. For the most part, was one of the worst years in gaming that's ever existed. Countless broken games released. Thank you, Ubisoft. I mean,
I'm looking at you, 343.
And 343. Yeah.
What the fuck,
Jesus.
man?
Still broken.
Guys, Assassin's Creed was awesome. What are you talking about? It went fine.
Oh, Jesus. You stop now. Anyways, I think we'll go on to what I was playing.
Oh, wait, wait. Sorry, I'm going to cut you off right there. Lone Vault, you were playing Dishonored as well. What do you think about that? I'm curious, because that sometimes is a controversial game as well.
Look, I haven't played it as much as I would like to give a complex opinion on it, but from what I've seen, it's fun. Like, I'm enjoying it. I think people compare it to Thief a lot. Is that correct? And in terms of it being a stealth game, it is a little bit better.
Thief is compared to Dishonored because Dishonored came out first. Now, I'm sorry. There's an original Thief.
Yeah.
And the original Thief
was good,
can be compared.
Apparently really good. Like gameplay freedom up the ass.
Yeah. Dishonored I really liked. I played that. I tried to play it mostly stealth and I had a lot of fun with it. So
yeah. All right. Sorry to cut you off. No, you can go.
Okay. Now I can go. Now.
Yeah, you have my permission because
because this is my podcast.
I've been playing the usual, CSGO, play a lot of that. It was a fun fact, I added my entire inventory worth up of CSGO, and it's worth $346.44.
Wow. That's actually crazy.
God.
Yes. And then I also started playing Hearthstone, which for those of you who don't know, it's a card game. Yeah. And I'm really liking it. I started playing it like 2 days ago, and I've just been sinking hours into that game. Jeez. I mean, I probably played about 10 or 12 hours of the game. You know, I mean, it's a really cool game.
Yeah, I can't really see myself playing card games, to be honest. Like, back in the day when I was a kid, I loved Yu-Gi-Oh! Did anyone like Yu-Gi-Oh? Because I fucking loved that game. And Pokemon.
I played, well, to me, you guys are the odd man out, but at the time, I guess here I am the odd man out. I like Magic, personally.
You're about to say Yu-Gi-Oh!
About to say Yu-Gi-Oh! But here's my blue eyes white dragon in attack mode. But, Matt, what have you been playing other than with your...
I realize I sound like such a negative Nancy, so I'm going to start off with the game I've been enjoying first and then go on to the one I'm not enjoying. Yes. So, first, I've been playing Rogue Legacy on my Vita.
I thought you were about to say Rogue Warrior. Oh my god.
No, hell no. Rogue Legacy. Rogue Legacy is like this side-scrolling game where every time you die, like you spawn as a new lineage in your family tree, and you pick from all these classes that you can upgrade. And the point is to get as far as you can in this castle and collect as many coins as you can without dying. And hopefully, once you die, you have enough coins to either upgrade your classes, essentially your castle, or you can spend money on new equipment, which you can find in treasure chests in the castle. And it's just a really highly replayable game, but I'm also enjoying the challenge and like, I don't know, it's so different and it fits great on the Vita because as you guys know, I'm a pretty hardcore Vita fan.
Yeah.
Sony,
we need to talk.
But seriously, it fits so great on the system. Like I see some people on my Twitter feed like playing on PS4. I'm like, what are you doing? But really, it's just such a fun game, and I've just been enjoying that lately. But the other game that I've been playing that this game is gonna cause some controversy here. But I've been playing Alien Isolation, and I put about
You're gonna cause a lot of controversy.
I put about 3 hours into this game. My friend was in the room with me. We're playing it the whole time. And
who? Can I ask real quick? Who
else is your friend other than me? God damn it, man.
Okay. Well, no, I was just curious. Okay, I dive in.
And he was, and don't get me wrong, it wasn't like I couldn't get engrossed. He was fairly quiet, so don't shoot the immersion factor at me.
I'm not.
No, I was saying to the viewers. So all right. So I'm playing Alien Isolation. I've played 3 hours of this game, and like I just ran into the alien for the first time, and it didn't even attack me. It attacked someone in a cutscene. So I was just like. You know, and don't get me wrong, it's not a bad game. It's just, I've spent this whole game walking, literally doing nothing, walking, pick up a wrench, and open some doors. Like, that's all I've done so far. I'm sure it gets better, but I've heard this game is like 12 hours long. So, and I've heard the second half sucks and is totally pointless. So I'm assuming the first 3 hours suck. The middle is decent, you know, it's all right. And the end sucks. Like, I feel like I'm wasting my time, and I'm probably going to return this game. But I was really disappointed because I saw in Game Informer, I think they said it's their game of the year. And I was just like, all right. Yeah, I'm going to finally man up and try this game, and I'm pretty disappointed.
So, all right, can I wreck you?
No, yeah, wreck me. Come on. Hit me with it, bitch.
First of all,
round one.
The reason you're only seeing one alien is because the original movie Alien.
I know that. I'm saying my issue is that it takes so long to actually encounter it. That's the hook of the game.
That's a valid point.
That's the hook of the game, and that was kind of my issue.
The main thing with Alien Isolation, one of the reasons it's so highly liked is because of its immersion factor. Now, I'll be honest, and I know you said, well, it doesn't matter. Playing it with a friend is not the way to play the game, and I'll be totally honest, because imagine me sitting there playing with you, and then it's like, oh well, I don't know where to go, it doesn't really matter, it's like it takes you out of it. It really does. It's a distraction. Now, I'm not saying don't play it with whoever, but I feel like you would enjoy the game a lot more if you play it solely like with the lights off. Yeah. But really try to immerse yourself, and I think you'll.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll end up enjoying it, but I'm just thinking to myself, if I was playing by myself and like those 3 hours I spent where I'm just kind of walking around and just kind of tackling miniature, not that scary puzzles, and they're not tough or anything, where it's not like challenging me either. It just felt like I was just walking around and really kind of. It's a lot of fan service, don't get me wrong, but because of how the game looks graphically and like all that stuff. But I think I couldn't get sucked into it, even if I wanted to think I would. I'm going to give it another run, though. Yeah. But, yeah.
I'm going to keep trying to interrupt you, but not succeeding. But I think that's one of the big things that you mentioned is it's a big fan service game because Alien Colonel Marines is not by the same company, but that was an awful game.
Yeah.
And major fans of the series hated that game. And it was a bad game to begin with.
Yeah, I can understand that.
I remember me and you talked about maybe doing a co-op thing with it, but
God.
we decided not to because of how horrible the reviews were.
Yeah, I got like 4 or 3.
It was just, and but I mean, one of the things I'm losing my train. You haven't actually experienced. You've met
how the game should be played.
Yeah, but you haven't. Try that. Well, but you haven't actually been like, fuck, I need to hide from the alien yet. Have you, or yes?
No, that's kind of the issue. Is just like you think to yourself with all the gameplay previews you see of this game, you'd imagine that I would run into that a bit sooner, and that's kind of what I expected. True. I'm not saying rush the game. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying that I feel around the 3-hour point I should have been attacked by this thing at least once.
Yeah,
I'll give you that.
There's one thing that I heard about Alien Isolation, and I haven't played it myself, but in terms of the immersion factor, apparently the save points are really fucking annoying, and they're immersion breaking. Is that true or not?
Yeah, that happened to me once because you do. So far, I've run into humans. That's another point. I've run into humans that could kill me, and they have killed me, and then I get sent back really far, and I had to run back, and I'm like, this is a pain in the ass. So I've only died once though, so I don't know if it ramps up. I'm playing on the medium difficulty just to kind of play it safe, just in case. Bump it up if I need to. But yeah, that's what I've been playing. Didn't want to go too crazy with that, but we did anyways.
20 minutes later.
See, I read an article actually on Alien Isolation's game save system, like the way it works. I read it on an article from Game Sutra, and they were talking about how it's actually quite innovative, and by that it breaks the norm. Now,
yeah, because it's not like
that's good to some people, that'll be bad to others. And I'm not saying the people it's bad to are pussies or anything. I'm just saying it's really just a preference. It's just what you prefer.
The way I say it,
you gotta think to yourself, if you could pause this game and save whenever you wanted, that would ruin that game. Course, so it works.
Now here's another thing though. This comes from the Hitman book. Hitman did a certain amount of saves, so you could save 3 times.
So good
in one level. Yeah, and you only played that one though. You didn't play Blood Money, and Blood Money was awesome.
Yeah, I only played Absolution, and I lost all my save file. Oh, that pissed me off.
I have Absolution on PC, but I think I actually beat it. I can't remember. I beat it on console, but
you and Connor beat it. I was about at the end, and then I lost my entire save file.
Yeah, I think I told you how it ended just because it felt bad.
I wasn't gonna do that again. But
the game had so much replayability.
Oh yeah,
it was fantastic. It really was.
Anyways, that's what we're playing.
I forgot one game. One game I have one indie. No, it's an indie game.
Oh, it's an indie.
So I have to mention. Yeah, but it's called Besiege, and it's Besieged. I'm sorry, and it's new on Steam, and it's like a building destroy the tower kind of game. It's really cool though because it's very physics based. Whatever physics engine it uses is fantastic.
I've seen this game before.
It's either Unreal or it's built in-house. I really can't tell. For those of you who use Imager or Imgur, if you call it that, watch the cast, you may have seen a lot of Besieged GIFs lately on Imager. But it is cool. You know, it's a fun game, physics oriented. But
I need to get into indie games more myself. I don't play enough of them, particularly because I don't have time.
Yeah, I understand.
I recommend the games from Supergiant Games, Bastion and Transistor, are probably some of the best indie games I personally ever played. I would recommend starting with those.
The way I say it,
they're always on sale during any Steam sale. You can get them for like so cheap. It's just I'd start with those.
I was thinking to start with Shovel Knight or something like that because that got favorable.
Shovel Knight's really hard.
Hard?
That's so hard though. But
you know what's something funny? I used to love playing Super Mario Brothers, but I, as a kid, never been able to finish those games. I recently came back to try and finish the first one, and it's fucking difficult. And I think I'm alright at video games, but God, I died a lot. It was just ridiculous.
You should try Hotline Miami.
That's another good indie game.
Hotline Miami is a fantastic game in terms of art. The art design behind the game, it's a very 80s Vice color scheme. You know, a lot of pinks, a lot of blues.
Story.
It is a creepy story. It's just creepy isn't disturbing, not really scary, but it is cool. It's a fast-paced game. It's like I'm getting punched in the face every 6 seconds.
2 is going to be really good. They're going to have like a level editor and
so
like dual wielding and stuff. It's going to be really cool.
Yeah, I am excited too.
Shall we move on to the fan questions? All right, so every week you guys tweeted us using the hashtag H.A.M Radio Time. And basically what you do is give us your Fallout-based questions, and we sit here and answer them.
Doesn't have to be Fallout, though. It can be Fallout.
It can be anything.
Yeah, true. It can be anything, but this week we chose, since it's basically a Fallout-themed podcast, we figured, let's start off with Fallout.
Well, I have my own question, but I'll wait till the end before I do.
All right. So the first question comes from Mini Sora. He says, what role will the main protagonist likely have in Fallout 4? Use your imagination.
I like that question.
So
my imagination?
So I'm assuming he's saying here that other than the typical Android in Boston type of scenario that everyone's kind of laid out for Fallout 4, what could there be? I really personally have no clue, because that's the only one that's kind of been theorized, because you could really come up with anything. He's a pirate from the Caribbean, I don't know.
What from the Caribbean? I want to see something from space.
Oh, don't say that. I hated Mothership Zeta. I hated that DLC.
Mothership Zeta.
That's true. Yeah. Oh, gross.
I'm just saying in general, just something space related would be really cool. Now it doesn't have to be set in space, but I would personally want like a more kind of Fallout 3 beginning where it's more personal, where you.
Of course,
I really liked how I actually ended up caring about Dad, or James, whatever you want to call him.
Yeah.
And so I don't think it should be like a certain role, but I really like the whole saving humanity in a normal, not cliched way in Fallout 3. I really like that take. So personally, I'd like to see that kind of again,
rather than going to the fucking Hoover Dam.
Oh God, New Vegas was just like
the one thing about New Vegas. I will say is that it wasn't like this one person saving the world. It was you make choices and they matter somewhat, but in the grand scheme of things, there's all these other things that are happening. It's not like you're the sole hero of everything. And I think Fallout 4, if they don't go in that direction, I would be happy. Like, you could make choices which significantly impact the wasteland in some sort of way, but so long as you're not like the big daddy and completely change the wasteland, you're this big hero. I don't like that. I think that's a bit cliche and it's been done to death.
That's true. That's a very good point, actually. A smaller being of a hero is something that isn't seen enough, and it can be really interesting if done right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I just feel like Fallout New Vegas messed up a little bit. I see. Okay, I loved Fallout 3 to death. 10 out of 10 game, fantastic.
Yeah.
Fallout New Vegas was like an 8 to me, and I'm gonna get murdered for that. But
you're right, because honestly, the only thing that I feel New Vegas did better in 3 was the choices you had to make. There were more of them, and they were more impactful. Exactly. That's about it. Fallout New Vegas' world sucked, in my opinion. It still sucks.
I think it's terrible.
The characters I don't find as interesting or crazy as I did in Fallout 3. There's not as much creativity now. Don't get me wrong. They only had a year to make this game, so I don't expect a 10 out of 10 game. They did good with what time they had, but it's just not as good as 3. It's good to old school fans because it's from Obsidian, and like the minds behind it were behind the original Fallouts. Yeah. But you know what? Everyone's going to have different opinions,
now, people are going to be fighting each other in the comment section. Just letting you know.
I was going to say, they're like, fuck you, Matt.
Fallout 3's better. No, New Vegas. Ugh.
See, the thing is, I think if you played New Vegas first and then played Fallout 3, you'll probably like New Vegas more. Yeah. If you played 3 first and then played New Vegas, you're probably gonna like 3 more. It's like it
depends where you start. It's where you start.
It's a nostalgia factor, without a doubt.
Especially since a lot of people's first Fallouts were 3. That's why a lot of people like 3 more.
And I also lived in the East, so it was like easier for me to identify with that kind of era. Whereas in the setting the game in the West, I didn't live in the West at the time, so it was like okay, cowboys and West stuff. It's like I don't give a shit. It meant nothing to me.
What's cool is it's actually like New Vegas is. I know like some people are like no duh, but it's actually based off literal areas. Like people have taken pictures on Reddit and posted them of like signs and stuff. I think it's pretty cool.
It's really cool. I like that.
Air Force Base or whatever, that's a totally real place. We actually, when I went to Vegas, we drove by it.
Awesome. I love how this question steered off into Fallout 3 versus New Vegas. It was bound to happen on the first podcast.
That's the blame of a podcast. We don't stay on topic. We answer the question and we just go off. Let's move on to the next question from Revan Solorius. He says, if Fallout 4 is in Boston, what do you think about the game having a colonial American theme? Fallout New Vegas had a Westernist theme, and Fallout 3 had a 50s theme. This is a really damn good question.
Really quickly, Revan, you always favorite my tweets, and I love you for it. Anyway, continue.
This is just a really good question, because I never really registered that. In New Vegas, you can kind of tell by the ambient music, it's all Western, you know, it's set in the West. And Fallout 3 is a heavy 50s music, obviously based off like that intro. They play music like that right from the start, from the ink spots, I think. And so when I thought Boston, you know, I know it's a crazy connection, but I thought to myself like Assassin's Creed 3, and I thought colonial America and all that stuff. And he made a great point there. Now, what exact theme do you think he's talking about when he says this? Is he talking about like, I don't know, like how the buildings look and shit? Like,
so, okay, is he saying what if Fallout happened rather than at the time it did, rather like if Fallout happened in like the 1800s? Is that what he's saying?
I think he's saying the theme as in the propaganda you see, the the music that plays. I think that's what he's going for.
I'm not gonna lie, I totally forgot the question. Give me 2 seconds.
Colonial America versus another theme, generally.
Colonial America is the theme he's going for Fallout 4, and he's saying compare that to New Vegas Fallout 3.
Okay,
Western or 50s theme.
I think honestly the Boston and the Fallout 3 theme probably going to be similar.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be more of a patriotic kind of rather than I wouldn't if you want my honest opinion, I wouldn't say Fallout 3 it did have a 50s theme, but to me it was like 50s and patriotic, because you did have the Museum of History and stuff, and that was in my opinion a big impact on the game.
Oh yeah,
the so it was already kind of patriotic-y
to start with.
Well, colonial sort of already.
You also got to consider landmarks in Boston.
Yeah, I was going to say, now Boston, the landmarks there, a lot of really cool stuff you can do. You know? Exactly. So even if it is kind of a same feel as Fallout 3, it's still a new area and a really sweet place to explore. So that's my opinion.
Bethesda always says the world is the main character. So I feel like if they do what they feel is right by playing into what the setting is and how it looks and how it feels, I think they'll hit the right theme. Now, I don't think the colonial American theme is far off, but you know, I'm assuming by that he's talking music and propaganda, which would be cool.
I don't see them veering off too much from what Fallout 3 established, but like technically this is a sequel, right? And I think some people might forget that. So I personally like the patriotic 1950s Americana theme, and the way I see it, maybe if they were to focus more on like the Enclave radio podcast, that kind of feel. I say podcast, why? Radio, I don't know, broadcast. I love to listen to him like just ramble on about patriotic America and life values.
I do too,
That was awesome. So I think if they were to expand that a little bit more, as opposed to just one broadcast, that might be cool.
Okay.
That would be.
So, third question we have out of 5 is from @Toastoff. He says, it's a very simple one. Who is your favorite Fallout character?
Oh.
That's actually not as simple as I thought it was, because now I think to myself, what the hell is my favorite Fallout character?
We should have thought about this before recording.
R2-D2 and Claptrap.
Oh, God.
I don't know why. She's not my favorite. She's definitely not my favorite, but anytime I think of like an awesome character in Fallout 3, I think of Moira Brown. She's so crazy and positive.
I couldn't disagree with you more.
She goes against everything the game is. She's not my favorite, but she's so different. I think of her as a standout character. Even if she sucks, she's such a standout character.
She's notable. Like that's a good point. But every time I hear her voice, I just want to shoot her face off. It's so annoying. It's so fucking annoying. So
I think.
It
is.
Oh hey dear.
I think my favorite, my most memorable character was Gary. No, I'm just kidding.
Gary.
Actually, I just made comments. Torture.
Gary.
This is gonna be filled with Gary. No. I think genuinely my favorite character was Tenpenny.
From good choice.
He was my most memorable, in my opinion. But yeah just because
it was so, and he thought like it was entertaining to blow up Megaton.
in the white suit and everything, and the really posh attitude about different things. You know, I just think it was fantastic.
Yeah. And like, even though he was safe, he didn't care about the outside world, and that's all that really mattered.
That's true.
Give two shits.
Personally, for me, I liked John Henry Eden, as I alluded to before. I loved just listening to his radio broadcast. It was awesome. And even though it was obviously repetitive at times, I think it was. I was gonna say it. It's hard to explain, but you know he was full of shit, right? We didn't know that he was this computer program or whatever. Spoiler alert, whatever. But if you guys haven't played Fallout 3 and you're on this podcast, I think you should leave. Right?
Why are you even watching?
No, but he provided like this kind of picturesque setting of what America could be like in the future if we went down his route of like the baseball game and his dog Buttercup, I think that was his name. But it was really cool to get that take of it, as opposed to this dark, barren wasteland that everybody, that kind of setting that everybody else in the game was trying to personify. Yeah. John Henry Eden, he really took it in a different direction. He was the only character like that would say, you know, we can build America back. We can go to this, you know, we can play baseball again. We can do all of these things. I really like that about him.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. Now that you mention it. I actually, you know, I should have established that Moira Brown is not my favorite. She's just a very standout character. If I actually had to pick a favorite, though, it sounds kind of cliche, but I really like the dad. I think he's pretty damn cool. He's always fighting for the good of the world, and even though he even sacrifices himself at one point, I just think that's all really cool.
Well, I love Liam Neeson too, so that's why I love him.
I like Billy and the Wazer rifle.
Yeah, he's a real deep character with a complex structure.
The character tree is just absolutely fantastic.
Wazer rifle.
Hi, I'm Billy, and I have a fucking speech impediment. There's nothing wrong with that.
Oh, there's a lot wrong with it. Anyways, moving on to the fourth question from X Hyper. He asks, if Fallout 4 was announced at E3, when would the estimated release date be? Noah, you ready to piss people off? Go on, hit us with it. I'll let you go first.
So realistically, if they felt that Fallout was in a state that now this doesn't mean it's true, but it's possible. The odds are fairly true. Let's say Fallout 4 was announced at E3. It probably wouldn't come out for another year to between 8 months to a year, you know, maybe even a year and a half. That's stretching it a little bit, but it wouldn't be an announcement and then 2 months later you have the game. I can promise you that much. They need to build hype. Now, that you could argue they already have hype, you idiot. Yes, they do, but I mean, actual palpable, like to where. You know, they put stuff in magazines, they make trailers, that kind of hype, not just internet hype.
I do have a strong opinion about this. Now, look back on Fallout 3 and how that was announced. You had this, I think it was like a website. Essentially, it was like this website, there were these Vault cartoons that came out earlier in 2008, or I think it was maybe late 2007. And then they had that lead up, and then they showed the gameplay at E3 of that year. And then they released the game in October of that year. It was a really quick turnaround. Okay. So I'm thinking maybe they could do something similar.
But again, the game was still no. I mean, it's hard. It's so hard to say, because my view on it is like that kind of turnaround just can't happen now. Back then, and I say back then loosely because it wasn't that long ago, but
it's so old now.
But it still was a very different industry.
Yeah,
you know, and with the fact of now with the way that especially advertising and stuff works, they're gonna want a little while for it to kind of really sift and be like, okay, it's official now.
Yeah,
you know, it's like saying, okay, they're gonna announce Half-Life 3 at E3 and then release it 3 months later. Do you know how crazy things would get? Like that. You just have to. It's got to seep for a little bit. Now, maybe I'm fucking wrong. It's rare, but maybe I am. And you know, I'm in 3 months could be eating my fucking words, and you know, everyone will be laughing and calling me an idiot. I hope
the way I see it is that if look. In the November period, when all of those games come out, like Call of Duties, whatever, I can't see them releasing the game then, because the market will be flooded. They have to do it before that, or after that. And that's why I say October is probably the best bet. And because I've done that with Fallout 3 in the past, it is a really good precedent.
And they also Dishonored was a October release as well.
Yeah, exactly.
If I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And
my personal thought is that they always say they don't want to dribble it out, or at least Todd Howard does. He doesn't say we don't want to dribble this game out. So my thought is that they've been working on this game for so long that they want to make sure everything's right. So when they do reveal it, they can get this thing out the door within half a year.
Exactly.
Because remember Skyrim?
Skyrim was like a year. Skyrim took like a year.
Yeah, but that was the longest year of my life because I actually didn't have any interest in the game at first. I just remember you and a few other people we talked to at the time going on about the game, and I'm just I was playing Battlefield 3 at the time, and I was just like, shut up. And then I decided to actually, funny story, I had laryngitis at the time, so I sounded like this when I talked, and I wanted to go get the game. I decided, like, day after release or day of release, I honestly don't remember. I stayed home from school, made my mom take me to GameStop. I stayed home from school because I was sick, let's be clear. And I went and I walked in.
Like
yeah, I know. And voice crack. And anyways, I went in and I was like, hi, I'm here to pick up Skyrim. And my voice cracked twice in a row. And the lady behind the counter was like, oh, did you go to the show? And I was like, what? Like, I had no idea what I was talking about. Like, no, I'm sick. So I just got the game and left. But that's something I'll never forget. I also remember, this is weird and has nothing to do with Fallout, but before I got with laryngitis, I could do a Christopher Walken impression. Then I got sick and I can't do one. Never been able to do it again.
Save yourself.
I did. So old.
But as for an estimated release date, I'd say my honest prediction is October of 2015. That's what I prediction.
I could see that. I guess I could see that.
And I think you raised a good point, man.
They always did their trailers like fall out, and then they just removed the out, and they put like fall 2008, for example, was for Fallout 3.
Yeah.
The fall 2015. Like, I'm just like, that's perfect. Yeah. Yes.
And a lot of the messaging that we've been getting at this point is that
it's not bad to be pessimistic in this case. Just you're not the bad pessimistic person.
I'm trying to be realistic.
I've lost all hype for this game. If Bethesda announced it tomorrow, I wouldn't care. Like, bullshit.
Bullshit. So many people say that. You're just like, you're kidding, right? You would buy 5 copies of that fucking game if it came out tomorrow.
Exactly.
No, but you raise a good point. Anyways, because if they just one last point, the messaging that we've gotten so far is that, all right, we want to make sure this game is in a final form when we announce it, when we reveal gameplay. So if it's at that stage, then you would expect a really, really quick turnaround. Why would they need to wait for another year just for marketing? That's the way I see it. Like, if the game is already technically finished or in a near perfect form, wouldn't they want to get it out of the door almost like 3 months away or 2 months away, and not wait that long?
That's a very real point. I was relating back to Skyrim on how they did that, because they announced Skyrim while it was still in development, and I think with Fallout 4, here's the thing I'm really scared about, and I've told Matt this before.
Yeah.
It's still possible. It's very unlikely, but it's still possible that Fallout 4 is just still an idea on a piece of paper.
Nah, there's no way. There's absolutely no way.
I hope not. But dude, because it's been not released, there could be 1,000 things. It could be the company will lose. Like they decide, okay, we're going to cancel this project and decide to go this way. Maybe they had it lined up so they were going to release for all the consoles, and then we're like, okay, shit, we're actually just going to focus on next gen. And they scrapped all that, and now they're going back to, there's a laundry list of things. Because it's unannounced, there's a laundry list of things that could be going on.
I also wonder personally, with this slew of destroyed games in the past year, that maybe they're taking their time and saying, let's make this a polished, finished product.
I think that's what they're doing. But if you look at Bethesda Game Studios, like the game developer, what do? They did the Elder Scrolls, and they can't just keep releasing Elder Scrolls after Elder Scrolls game, especially because Elder Scrolls Online has been released so recently. They've said, and I don't know if you guys have watched it, the Fallout 3 making of video. They came up with the special edition.
I've seen about half of it.
Yeah, and they're like, we wanted another franchise at the time, and at the top of the list was Fallout. And if they were to become a developer where it's like Elder Scrolls Fallout, Elder Scrolls Fallout, that makes a lot more sense as opposed to doing 2 Elder Scrolls games and also having Elder Scrolls Online. The market's just flooded, and then waiting for Fallout. It has to be this continuous cycle of Elder Scrolls and then Fallout. Otherwise, it wouldn't make sense from a business standpoint. That's my opinion.
I mean, people always argue that it's got to be a new IP as well, but it's just like, I don't see why they would buy the rights to a whole Fallout franchise to make one game in like 10
but we
years.
also said their legal team is psychotic, and they may have just been doing that to do that. Okay. I hope I'm wrong. I'm just trying to look at all the possibilities.
Pete Hines did say on Twitter, he did say, I remember, that we didn't buy the entire naming rights of the franchise just to make one game. Or just to make 2 games technically. But in terms of Bethesda Game Studios, I bet you they have this big desire to make another Fallout game. Because could you imagine spending how many years on Skyrim? I could see them getting
burnt out too on Elder
Scrolls.
I'm sure they do. Here's the thing, guys. I don't think it's a choice thing. I don't think it's like, oh, we really want to do. I'm sure they want to. I'm sure they are doing. But you got to remember, there's there's shareholders, there's this, that, and the next thing. There are people who are much higher than them telling them what to do that may not be what they think is their best interest.
I feel like Todd decides that, though. That's what Pete says. He says if Todd decides what he wants to work on is what the...
He lets Todd do what he wants, essentially.
I hope that, and if that's the case, awesome.
Pretty sure it is. I don't want to say it's a guarantee because none of us work there, but from what I've seen in interviews.
No, there was one interview where he was like, all right, we just as Bethesda, as a publisher, we let the game developers essentially do what they want. If they're not happy with a particular direction, they can voice their concerns. And I think Bethesda has a better relationship with their developers as opposed to someone like Ubisoft, which is like, you better fucking release an Assassin's Creed every year, otherwise you're getting fined. That's essentially how it works.
It does.
Well, it's just because they do it yearly. It releases, or they do not amazing, but okay on release. They don't. Here's the thing about Assassin's Creed. Here's the thing about Ubisoft in general. They don't
doubled their revenue last year, which is hilarious.
They don't care about the fucking quality of the game. They don't. This is the case. I hate to say it, but for a lot of AAA companies, to name a few, EA. Although EA in the last year, Ubisoft has made EA look like Jesus. And that's saying a lot. Now, my favorite AAA company, and Matt knows this. Matt, say it. Go ahead.
Rockstar.
There you go. It is Rockstar. Okay, because
they don't put out bad games.
They don't. No. And I have no issue with GTA 5 on PC being delayed. No issue. I'd rather something not be broken actually come out rather than all this early, Steam early access crap. Now that's not AAA, a lot of that, but even still, I will not get into H1Z1. I'm gonna for that, but give it me the hate, not everyone else. But anyways, continue.
Yeah. All right. So that was actually a really good discussion. Let's get on to the final fan question from VR Crucial. He says, this is a very simple question. If not in Boston, what other locations would be ideal for Fallout 4?
Oh, boy.
I feel like if I say New York, Matty's going to bite my head off, just like he did with IGN.
No. I shit on IGN, all right? I shit on IGN and told them that, they were wrong because they're like, oh, we're just daydreaming in the next Fallout, and they had like the Statue of Liberty. I'm like, nope, it's destroyed in the Fallout universe. But I thought of an even better setting, I personally think, for a Fallout game. Yeah. And it's also destroyed in the Fallout universe. But I think to myself, that time goes on, these places can be rebuilt. Yeah. I think Philadelphia would be pretty damn cool, personally.
Philly. That would be cool.
That would be really cool. They have enough of the patriotic landmarks and stuff to kind of fit that Fallout theme that's always there. I don't know. I think it would work out really well in Philadelphia.
It's always sunny in Philly.
Oh, God.
Anyway, the show.
I know the show.
I think I'd see, and I know I'm probably not the only one out here, but Europe will be cool, but I'll tell you why it wouldn't be cool at the same time. Yeah. Because Fallout is a very patriotic game. They always have been.
With that Americana
thing. One thing, not to interrupt you, but everyone always argues when we say patriotic that it's Americana, so I'm just warning you now.
Yeah.
A little bit late at the final part.
What I mean by patriotic is Americana. I mean that.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm just saying, I know what you mean, but people clarify. People seem to always get up in arms about that shit for some reason. But if you've listened this far, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Anyways, keep going.
Yeah. If you've skipped ahead, thank you, I guess. No, but what's it called? I think another country would be cool, but you'd really have to change the whole innards of Fallout. Something in China, like what the hell, what's happened to China in this time?
Look, I've said that it'll always be interesting to know what happened in other countries, because that there are people alive there. America's not the only one, but you have to do it via military simulation, via another form of DLC. It just won't work because think about the world and how it works. It's an open world game. It's not like full of different sections, so you can't just, unless it's a DLC, jump on a boat and go across to China, and then there's a huge another world there, because that will take a lot of resources away from the dev team.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be cool, but it'd be hard. You'd have to work it in right, and that's what would be difficult.
They have to set it up some way in like the next game to make it so that Europe would actually work in some form or fashion.
Yeah. Even like flashbacks, like if you're going through the story and you have a flashback of what it was like in China before the bombs went off. Maybe we find out that way who actually pressed the first button. Something like that.
Like I said, like you said too, like military simulations, I think in Fallout, kind of similar to the Operation Anchorage. Use that shit. That'd be awesome.
Fuck you. I was going to say that. But,
You beat me to it.
Anchorage, yeah. Operation Anchorage, I remember because I didn't have Live at the time. I bought a disc that had Operation Anchorage, and I don't remember what the other DLC was on it. It was for Fallout 3, and I remember playing Operation Anchorage, and it was Broken Steel, yes, and it was both those were really cool.
Yeah, that's one thing I want to say. They need to allow us to keep playing the game once we finish the main quest. Please, for the love of God. They allowed us to do that with Broken Steel, I believe it was, and New Vegas, they just didn't do it at all. I'm like, why?
Yeah. They did let us in Skyrim, which kind of surprised me.
I want to know what the Wasteland is like once you finish the main quest. Once you, say, take an evil direction or a good direction. What's everything going to be like?
That'd be so cool. They give it like this whole kind of second form of the game where like once your choices are there set in stone, it's actually this whole different game, and it kind of gives us this whole new layer of what to do after you're all done with the main quest. I think that'd be pretty cool.
That's why they don't want to do it, because it'll take too much time and effort.
Yeah, I hope they take more of a Skyrim approach, where the main quest, and this is kind of, Fallout does this anyways, where the main quest is there, but the real core of the game is in the way you play it through this quest and different stuff like that. However,
play style and exploration.
In Skyrim, you can, you join different factions. Now, you can do that in New Vegas, but it doesn't really do anything.
Yeah.
Whereas in Skyrim, I remember you joining the assassin stuff, and then you were an assassin, and then there's, what I mean? Like, there's that really deep-rooted stuff.
That's the thing. Like, in Fallout, they didn't let you join on the factions. Like, I don't get why in Fallout 3, like, you couldn't really join any factions, and you couldn't even join the Brotherhood of Steel Outcasts. Like, I don't get why you didn't have that
I would have loved to have joined
game.
the Outcasts. I thought that was such a cool faction that split off. I really
That's what I'm saying. And their armor is sick. Their armor is so cool. Why? I don't get it. You can just talk to them. They're like, give us some resources because we don't like what Lions is doing. Exactly. Okay, so let me just go and get you some scrap metal, and that's it. That's all we do together.
And this is why PC is great, because I can't remember which mod it was. I think it's Wanderer's Edition, where at the start you can be like, all right, I'll be an Outcast member. And then you walk over to some Brotherhood of Steel members, and they'll just start attacking you because you're part of that faction. I think Fallout 4 needs something like that.
That would be.
I hope it does. Because that faction gameplay, giving the player the option to feel like they're a part of something, a part of a group that they have the choice over, is a really big immersive quality for a game to have. Yeah. And Skyrim really succeeded with that. So being able to do that is one of the big successes.
Skyrim really wasn't about the choices you made. It was more of like an exploration game, which isn't bad. I look back in retrospect, and it was like,
I disagree a little bit, but
I don't feel like I made any choices like live or die, help this person, leave them alone.
I just want to see the choices be a little bit less clear cut. It's not like, all right, I help this group and then the Wasteland's all good. I want to be able to say, all right, if I help this group, this other good group, which has good intentions as well, they get fucked over for it. I want those really hard choices.
Yeah, have it change the outcome of a side quest later on in the game. Like something like that, where it's a little less cookie cutter. Yeah,
exactly.
All
right. But that was the final fan question, the final segment of our first episode of the H.A.M Radio Podcast.
We did really
hold on, Noah has something else to say.
This is my question. This is just my random. Maybe I'll do this every week. Is just throwing a random question. How many 7-year-olds do you think you could take on in a fight?
Oh god,
6.
Unarmed? Do you think 6, 7-year-olds. Now they're trying to kill. They're unarmed, but they're trying to kill you. You think you can take on 6?
They're trying to kill him. 6.
Do we have any weapons, or is it just us?
No, they're unarmed, so they don't have any weapons.
Do we have weapons?
Trying to kill you. Do you? No, you don't have. Just have your fist. You just have your fists, and that's it. And your feet, obviously.
All right, I'll say 10. Why not?
10.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ! I was gonna say 4. All right, leave your in the comments below, and we'll see how realistic it is.
We're gonna get everything under the sun.
So that's the final the final segment of the first episode of the H.A.M Radio Podcast. As always, be sure to follow us on Twitter. Our handles are on screen, and tweet us using the hashtag H.A.M Radio Time, and you'll have the chance to be our 4th guest on this podcast. Be sure to know that you need Skype in order to join us on this lovely show. Thank you for your time, gentlemen.
Thank you, everyone.
For those of you who stay tuned this long.
Yeah, good effort.
Because this is awesome. This was fun.
That was good.
Yeah, it was.
Enjoyed myself.
But anyways,
look forward to it again.
Every week on the weekend at some point, we will be having another episode out. So we hope to catch you guys in next week's episode.
See you then, guys.
Peace out, guys.
See you later.